Hey, welcome to our class, the Tuesday Night Beer School with me, Chad of Chad's Beer Reviews, and...
Me, Christina.
Alright, so this is kind of following up on... We just did a month of international lagers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going back to domestic lagers, because, I think around Christmas time last year, we did the American light lager style. So today we're going to do the regular American lager, the adjunct lager, the macro lager, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Overall impression, a very pale, highly carbonated, light-bodied, well-attenuated lager with a very neutral flavor profile and low bitterness. Served very cold, it can be a refreshing and thirst-quenching drink. I love the comments on here. It says, often what non-craft beer drinkers expect to be served they order beer in the United States.
Right.
Maybe marketed as a pilsner outside Europe, but strong flavors are a fault. With little malt or hop flavor, these characters what most frequently differentiates brands. Interesting. All right, so you can pause and read the history if you want. I mean, it's basically cheap beer.
Mm-hmm.
Characteristic ingredients: 2 or 6-year-old barley with up to 40% rice or corn as adjuncts. I think if you go over 40%, then it's a malt liquor, or maybe it's over 50%.
Okay.
I think it's over 50% is malt liquor. Lager yeast, light use of hops. All right, so obviously stronger, more body than American light lager, less bitterness, less flavor than international pale lager, significantly less flavor, hops, and bitterness than traditional European pilsners. All right, so everybody knows the commercial examples of this. So we actually have 4. We're going to do 2 rounds. So the first round is going to be Budweiser versus Miller High Life.
Which is very hard to find. How many gas stations did you go to?
I know.
Find this?
Well, to get one can, I mean, you can get 6-packs or...
Bud's everywhere, but
Yeah.
these other ones are a little harder.
Yeah. But still, I guess, just off of that, I guess they still are the king of beer. So,
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we already have them poured.
Yep.
So let's start with the Budweiser.
Okay.
All right. Add a little more here. Now, Bud is... The difference between Bud and the other 3, or the other, Bud is made with rice, and Miller and Coors are made with corn. So you may smell... And what I used to always get, a Rice Krispie smell in this one.
That's all I'm getting. It's very subtle.
And you also get... This beer is notorious for acetaldehyde, which is... it's like a chemical byproduct of fermentation. Some people perceive it as, fresh-cut Granny Smith apples... Or it's just this, the beer smell, It's this, you have tons of empties, that smell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. An abandoned beer can. That stinks.
Yeah. So this to me is, I can get the acetaldehyde right off the nose, and it's a little bit of Rice Krispies, but.
Yeah, I get a sweetness and a rice smell.
Yeah, I don't pick up hops at all.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what hops
And
they use on here, but I'm sure it's probably some kind of spicy or...
It's very light. It doesn't
floral.
overwhelm you with smell.
Yeah, let me top off my Miller here.
Whereas this one has that beer smell I think you were talking about.
Well, I was going to say, this one smells a little bit more malty to me, like actual legit malt.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, the Bud reeks of, rice and apple, and, this is, kind of like a Heineken or, Stella Artois, something like that.
Yeah.
It does have a corny kind of presence, though, as well.
Yeah, it's a little bit corn chippy.
But this doesn't have, that... This doesn't have acetaldehyde, as far as I can tell.
No. There's a sweetness there, but I wouldn't call it, fruitiness.
Yeah. Actually, I think, there's, a faint fruitiness on this one, but... Wow. And I get no hops, either. Yeah, it's funny, if you just go straight from one to the other.
The Bud smells so mild compared.
Yeah. Well, let's see how they should smell. Aroma: low malt aroma optional, but may be perceived as grainy sweet or corn-like if present. Okay. Light spicy or flow hop aroma optional. Is anything on here required? Everything's optional. While a clean fermentation profile is desirable, a light amount of yeast character is not a fault. So, I don't know, these specs, they don't tell you, everything's optional. So it's what should be here,
Well...
This is hard to grade. So...
if everything's optional, why can it not be perfect?
I know.
If there's, an odor, I guess, dysfunction, maybe,
Yeah.
but...
This is at the point where you basically... The difference between subjective and objective, merge here. So...
Yeah.
I mean, the style guidelines are written around these beers. There's no reason not to give them But remember, we're always reviewing the container that we have. By the way, I'll go 10 for Budweiser.
I'll do 10 for Budweiser
Okay.
and a 10 for the Miller.
Oops. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. All right, appearance.
I mean,
They're almost identical.
very similar.
Actually, still get a little bit of foam on there. It's hanging around. I'm surprised.
Yeah. The Bud might be a little tinge lighter.
I can't tell. They look absolutely identical to me. I think the Miller's slightly more carbonated, but...
Yeah, if you switched them up, you probably wouldn't know.
All right, so let's check the specs on appearance. I had this ready. Very pale straw to medium yellow color, white, frothy head, seldom persists, very clear.
Yeah.
Well, both heads are hanging around.
Yep.
I'm going to give both of these a 3.
I'll give both a 3 as well. They're
Okay.
both there.
All right, here comes the best part, or the worst part.
Depends.
We'll start with Bud.
Yeah.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Clunk.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually, because these beers have been sitting out for a little while, it's a little warm. And you can actually taste it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like the first thing I noticed is that it's like a little bit sweet.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit sweet, maybe it's that acetaldehyd.
Well, that's not really sweetness.
Or,
that's like a...
but there's a kind of like a green fruit there.
Yeah, to me it's kind of like a Rice Krispies froth or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's definitely like a... Like if you ever cooked rice at home and like you had like the... Like what's left in the pan, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of taste I'm getting here.
Yeah, I've only ever really had Bud Light, so...
If you really like, if you let it sink, like linger on your tongue and like really, you know, do that, I can pick up like a faint amount of like a kind of spicy or peppery hop, but it's very low.
It's on the back end. It's got a tiny little bit of a bite.
I will say that I haven't had this beer in a long time, and it's not as offensive as I remember.
I think it's drinkable.
Yeah, that's what I would say. It's drinkable. All right, we'll try the Miller High Life. Cheers again.
Cheers.
All right, same thing I said on the aroma. This has like a legit malt taste to it. I might even say it's actually a tiny little bit toasty.
Yeah. Definitely more going on here than the Bud. In terms of just kind of complexity, I guess.
Yeah, well, relatively speaking. Yeah, it's I mean, it's not exactly like a German Pils or something like that, but it has like a legit kind of malty taste to it, and like this one is made with corn. I think the corn complements the malt more than the rice.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a roughness to it. It's not completely smooth. That kind of suggests to me it might be like a cheaper beer.
You know what it is? I think it has like a little bit of a carbonic bite to it. Like it's so
Yeah.
highly carbonated. It's like kind of
It does.
imparts like a bitterness or a dryness.
Yeah, so it kind of takes away from the smoothness of it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it's as drinkable or easy to drink as the Bud Light or the Bud.
Well, this one has more legit flavor.
Yeah.
It doesn't have like a chemical or... I don't get acetaldehyd on here. Actually, I think I get like a tiny little bit of oxidation because that can's almost a year old.
Really?
Yeah.
And
But-
again, a little peppery.
I would say that I like the taste of the Miller Lite better.
I like the taste of the Bud better.
All right. Well, let's see how they should taste.
Bud.
Relatively neutral palate with a crisp, dry finish and a moderately low to low grainy or corn-like flavor that might be perceived as sweetness due to low bitterness. It's a run-on sentence.
Wow.
Moderately low hop flavor optional with a floral, spicy, or herbal quality if strong enough to distinguish. They don't really need that. Low to medium low bitterness. Yeah, very low. Balance may vary from slightly malty to slightly bitter. Really? But is usually close to even. High carbonation may accentuate the crispness of the dry finish, clean fermentation profile. Yes, I mean, neither of these are perfect. I would say, I think the Miller is, to me the Miller is, at least this can is a better example. Not that the Bud is awful or anything. I'm gonna go 15 for Bud.
I'll do a 16 for the Bud.
Okay. I'm gonna go kind of high for the Miller. I'm thinking 17 or 18.
I'm doing
18.
the opposite. I'm going to do 15. I'm going to do it. I don't think it's as good as the Bud.
Boo.
Yeah, I disagree.
All right, mouthfeel. I don't even really need to take them, but I would say like these have like a little bit more body than the light versions, obviously.
I think the Miller has a little more body than the Bud.
Yeah, but I would still probably call it light-bodied, maybe medium light.
Yeah, and very good carbonation on it.
Yeah,
on both.
It's still, I don't think it's quite like the spastic champagne carbonation. I mean,
No.
I think it's just these plastic cups don't really do it justice. Like if you pour this into a glass and you were drinking the whole thing, it'd be like way more effervescent.
Yeah.
But I do have like a bit of like kind of like a starchy aftertaste or something. Like they don't finish like completely clean.
For both of them?
Yeah.
I think it's more so on the Miller than the Bud for me. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the Miller has more taste, so it's like a slightly malty aftertaste. All right, let's see how they should. Low to medium low body, very highly carbonated with slight carbonic bite on the tongue. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mentioned that. I don't know if I would go as far as say very highly carbonated. I mean, definitely highly carbonated.
Yeah, but they're older cans, right? They lose some carbonation over time.
They really shouldn't. I'm going to go 4 for both. What do you think?
Okay, I'll do 4 for both then.
4 for both.
Yeah, not perfection, but almost.
Yeah, really good. Overall,
Yee.
I mean, they both represent the styles. Obviously, I mean, it's almost kind of pointless to even doing the judging. You know, it's not like I like this beer. It's just that it's a good example of the style.
Yeah.
And even though this can's old, like it's not awful. You know. I will say I'm thinking 7 or 8 on this one. I'll say 7.
I'll do an 8 on the Bud.
Okay. I'm gonna do the opposite on this one. I'll go 8 for Miller High Life. In fact, I could even go 9.
I'll do an 8 on the Bud.
Okay.
Or on the Miller.
All right, so average of 40 versus 41.5, so we like the Miller slightly more, but you know we're pretty close.
In terms of preference, I think I like the Bud better, but yeah, for guidelines.
All right, well we got round 2. We're gonna do Coors versus a craft rice lager, so we'll be right back with that.
Yay!
All right, we're back for round 2. We got Coors Original Banquet beer. This is actually kind of hard to find now.
Yeah.
We actually have a craft rice lager, Gold Dot rice lager from Heater Allen.
Heater Allen.
I actually did a survey on my channel and on my Instagram the other day. And I was like, should these craft rice lagers be considered their own style, or should they just be judged against adjunct lager styles? And like vast majority of people said just judge them as adjunct lager style. So that's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
All right, so we'll start with the Coors. We already know the specs, so let's give this. To me, the Coors is very corny.
It is, but wow. It's hard for me to get much on this one. It's very subtle.
Yeah, I agree. Other than like the corn, there isn't a whole lot going on here.
No. You really got to snick your schnoz down in here.
At least I don't get. I think this actually does have a little bit of acetaldehyde on it.
Can you detect that?
I'm trying to find the date on this bottle. I don't see one. It's from Pat's. It's probably old.
Yeah, beer museum.
Oh yeah, this has like that kind of reeky beer smell, you know.
Yeah, I guess so.
To me, it's just like you ever had like cream corn in a can or something like that. That's kind of how, like when you open the can, that's kind of how Coors smells.
Oh man.
Let's try the Gold Dot. Oh, this one's super neutral.
I get sweetness.
Yeah, it kind of actually smells a little bit like the Budweiser. I mean, it should because it's a rice lager.
Right, very subtle.
I can smell the plastic cup. That's like how neutral this beer is as far as the aroma.
I don't think either of these smell as strongly as the Miller High Life.
I agree. Like both the first round, both whether you liked it or not, they were both aromatic. These ones are very. But to me, the Coors Light is like very corny, but
Wow.
I would say of the 4 beers, the Gold Dot has the least amount of aroma.
Absolutely. It's very neutral.
All right, so as far as score for this one, I mean, they're both there within the as far as the specs go, but that corny taste is really turning me off on Coors. So I'm gonna go 9 for that.
Yeah, I know. I'll do a 10.
10. And the Gold Dot, I think I might even go even lower on that one. I'm thinking like 8 because it has like so little aroma on it.
There's like nothing here to judge on.
Yeah, let's say.
Well, it doesn't have to have a strong smell though.
Yeah, I did say everything. Everything was optional, you know.
Yeah, I'll do an 8 on this one as well.
At least it's clean.
It's clean. There's
Yeah.
nothing offensive about it.
Yeah. Appearance.
So the rice lager's lighter,
Yeah.
but they're both to style.
Yeah, the
Well.
Coors is like actually a gold, and I would say the rice lager is like a yellow or
Yeah.
blonde.
I was saying it was lower carbonation, but it's just really hard to see it. I think there was some in there.
They're both very clear.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the rice lager has like a little bit of haze to it. Or maybe that's just condensation. I guess it's pretty clear.
Yeah, it's clear. It's
And the
just-
head is holding.
Yeah.
So,
On both.
which is, yeah, it's really surprising, especially for plastic cups.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it 3 for both. What do you think?
Yeah.
3?
3 for both. They all got 3s.
Okay, yeah. It's hard to screw up the appearance on these types of beers.
Yeah.
All right, we'll start with the Coors. Cheers,
Cheers.
Ian. This is kind of like the Miller, but like even cornier.
I already knew when we did like the taste test that
Mhm.
this was my least favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Just personally.
I think
There's
this,
like a harshness to it.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I think it's a little acetaldehyde, or
Ugh.
yeah. This one's not fruity at all.
No, it's not.
I will say this does have like a kind of grainy malt taste.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not picking up on hops on here. To me, the bitterness on this one comes from like the carbonic bite.
That's what it
It's
is
like
at the
so
end.
highly carbonated. It's like
Yeah.
screw hops. Just let the CO2 do that bitterness.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
All right, we'll try the gold kung pai, as they say in Japan.
Kung pie.
Yeah, this definitely kind of reminds me a little bit of the Budweiser,
Mm-hmm.
but cleaner. Leo, shush.
It is cleaner, and I think it's got more of that peppercorn you were talking about. It's a little more profound on this one, I would say.
Yeah, I would say, well,
There's more
for the
spice.
style, this has like a moderate, maybe, I don't know if I go as far as say moderately high,
Mm-hmm.
hop flavor.
Yeah, this is very clean.
Yeah.
Easy to drink.
Yeah. This is like the least offensive, most inoffensive
Yeah.
of the 4.
Right, compared to, I think, the most offensive that it's
Yeah.
going up against.
I don't know how much rice exactly is in the rice lager, but I think it's a different rice or a different rice, process than,
Koji, is that a rice thing?
I don't know. Probably.
Okay.
It could be like, that'd be like a specialty rice and not, whatever mass market rice that Budweiser uses.
Just plain white rice, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, of the 4, you can definitely tell that the Gold Dot has like the most kind of crafty taste to it.
Mm-hmm. I'd say it tastes a little more expensive.
Yeah, expensive. Yeah, and I think that one has like a legit hop taste to it as well. All right, so how are we gonna score this? The Coors, I probably like it the least of the big 3,
Yep.
but I mean it's there to spec. So what do I give the other ones? And I gave Bud 15. I'll give this one a 14. Although actually I might give it a 15 because at least the Coors didn't have a chemical kind of thing to it.
Yeah, I'll give this one a lower. I'll give it 14. I'll do the 14.
Okay. The Gold Dot, I think it's a little too hoppy for the style, but it's a much more impressive flavor. I'm going to go 17 on that one.
I'll do a 19.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's where I would argue with you because I think it's a little too hoppy for the style.
Oh.
It's not supposed to be. All right. I don't know. Do we need a break for mouthfeel? I'd say something I noticed right away on the Gold Dot is this has the lightest body of the 4.
It really does.
I would say this one's
super
straight up light-bodied.
Yeah. It's very, very easy on the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one's heavier.
Relatively speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Both are pretty highly carbonated.
Yes.
They're there for the specs. All right, so for the Coors, I'm going to go 4 on that one.
I'll do 4.
4?
For both, yeah.
I'm going to give the Gold Dot a perfect 5.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'll do a 4 on that one.
4?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so overall for Coors, it's okay. I mean, as far as the style guidelines go, it's there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how old this bottle is. I think it's fresh, but I don't know. Got it from Pat, so I'll go 7, which I think is generous. I think it's fair.
My overall score is a 7.
7.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we both gave it 38. The Gold Dot, interesting. I'm gonna say 8 on that one.
I'll do an 8 as well.
Okay.
I mean,
All right, so
we agreed.
Yeah, I think. So Bud is an average of 40. Miller High Life is 41.5. Coors is the lowest at 38, and Gold Dot is also 41.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So of these 4, what's your preference? The Gold Dot?
Yeah, the Gold Dot is definitely I would prefer to drink, but I'm sure that one's like probably 3 or 4 times as expensive as any of the other ones.
Yeah. So then second best, I guess, for me would be Bud.
Second best for me would be Miller, because that one has like a legit like malt taste to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not like chemically like I think the Budweiser's too chemically like just off the fermentation issues, I guess.
Oh. I thought they were good. I seem to like rice lager on top and then the corn ones on the bottom.
Yeah.
But
by the way, we also did a blind tasting before we started the show to see if we could tell which one was which, and spoilers, we failed miserably. So I'll put links to that somewhere.
Did we? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was surprised by this guy.
All right. Well, we will see you next week. Hopefully, we're like a darker beer next time.
All right.
All right. See you then. Cheers.
Cheers.
Somebody brewed it. Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's Beer Reviews.
Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.